All right, it's 6 o'clock, time to start our school board meeting. If you're seated, could you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For those in the back, go ahead and keep enjoying yourself. Just don't make me turn this school board meeting around. Has everybody had a chance to read the agenda?
Yes. I will move to approve the agenda for May 28th, 2024.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And we have an agenda. And item number 3, Superintendent's Report.
Thank you, Board President Wiehlander, other board directors.
The light's on.
All right, no? Can you hear me? This one does work, so that's all right. We're good, we're good. Yep, thank you, sorry. Good evening. Board President Wiehlander, other board directors, student representatives, community members, staff, and I know some students. I just want to first start off, we've had a number of community events at our schools. I'm really thinking in particular Evergreen and Bordeaux Elementaries. They have last week had some events where they were able to showcase student work. Nothing's better than walking up and seeing students demonstrate their learning that's happening in the classroom, making connections with their families and of course the staff as one community of learners here in the Shelton School District. So really nice way to, as we try to segue towards the end of a school year, to again show all the things that our students are learning and their leadership skills. So thank you so much for all the families that came out and to see the students and all the things that they're learning. So I would also like to recognize with a lot of excitement, Josh Monroe will be serving as the interim football coach for Shelton High School. Josh is a previous assistant coach with the team. He's also a current staff member at Shelton High School, and so he'll serve in the interim role. Practices and team meetings are right upon us. I believe there was one today, and then practices starting up later on in June. For sure. That job will be posted in the middle of next year for to replace the interim and so for a permanent football coach for the Shelton High School team. But I wanted to make sure that folks knew that Josh Monroe is coming on board, in case you missed the announcement. We are also out at our schools, all 3 elementaries and Olympic Middle School. We're doing book rooms, so that's a continuation of our work. If you recall, we have 500 to 600 books in each of our elementary classrooms and all of the English learning, English language arts classrooms at OMS. So it's really nice to have these book rooms. They sit in another place so we can do exchange of books in and out as they look at the particular units of study. So what is the genre that the students are studying, the state standards? And so more books can be pulled into the classroom that would obviously fit the learning standards for that particular genre or unit. Budget and hiring season is wrapping up. Done a really good job. I know there's a lot of things in the news about other school districts. We've been working hard this last couple of years around our financials and our hiring process so that we could know better about where every dollar is at. And so that has afforded us this opportunity to hire early, as I'm sure I've mentioned before, with some very, very talented new teachers come to the district. They're super excited, really look forward to having them join us, go through orientation, the trainings that we have planned for them. So If you're out in the schools, take an opportunity to meet some of our new teachers that will be coming at the start of the next school year. We have very few vacancies right now, and so they're really usually very special positions, so we don't anticipate many more vacancies, so I think we're ahead of the game. It feels good. Again, on the budget, we'll have some more information coming up in a work session on June 10th around our budget, and then today, Brenda Trogstad is going to give an update on where our financials are at for the month of April. Our goal is to continue to build the general fund balance. Of course, you want to be in good financial health, especially in these times where the expenses are oftentimes coming in the form of substitutes, additional inflation, and then other expenses, the rise of things such as insurance and gas. Lastly, we have graduations coming up for our 3 high schools. Really excited. Choice is coming up on June 6th, and that will be at Shelton High School Auditorium at 6:30. Cedar will follow them on June 7th, also at 6:30 in the Shelton High School Auditorium. And Shelton High School will have theirs on June 8th at 10:30, and that will be at the St. Martin's Arena. So come join us for that as well. So 3 graduations in a row, really exciting for our graduates. They've worked really hard, so looking forward to celebrating with them and their families, and of course the staff who are very much dedicated to their success. So with that, thank you very much.
Thank you. And on to item number 4, community comment. As part of the regular school board meeting, the board welcomes community members to make public comment in person and or by phone as conditions allow. If speaking in person, please follow the public comment procedure by signing in and stating your name and address at the podium when called by the board chair. If making comments by phone, please dial 1-253-215-8782 and enter meeting ID 872-5618-1978. Each person is allowed 3 minutes to speak. In accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act, the board will not be allowed to discuss items that are not on the agenda. The board will direct the superintendent to follow up on any items that arise during public comment as appropriate. The board requests all speakers to use civil and appropriate comments and refrain from disrupting the business of the board. We ask that you help us model for our students what a respectful and inclusive community looks and sounds like. And James Phipps, you're up first.
This one working? Okay. My name's James Phipps, Shelton resident. I've been up here a few times. This isn't what I normally do. There was definitely a concerning thing that happened back in January. Involved my son, got involved, wanted answers, tried to get answers, still don't have answers. Coach thing came up, needed a coach. A lot of us went to the forum to listen to these 2 coaches. There was, what we were told, a lot of applicants for the job. We were excited, got down to 2 people. We talked to you guys about this at the last board meeting. Wanted to find out why the head coach that we all liked, that got voted in, that everybody seemed to be the right fit, right for the community, right for the kids. I mean, the kids still talk about him, and we don't know what happened. We don't know why that happened, why he didn't get in, why the second, coach that was up there that we listened to, why he's not our coach. Now we have an interim coach. There's nobody that's applying for the job. I get told at the last Booster Club meeting, because we're as involved with the boosters as we can for the boys, that they're going to look at the applicants. We're not doing the questionnaire. We're not talking to these coaches. We're just going to hire one as quick as we can. That was very disheartening to hear. If we would have done that the first time, we'd have a head coach. We'd have a coach right now. I feel like the steps that we were told at the very beginning, like I've said before, were what we wanted to hear. That's not what happened. We're getting told again. It's just an ongoing thing, and I feel like I've heard from a lot of people, it's like we come up here and talk and express, and it goes on deaf ears. We don't have answers. I think we'd all like to know why the last coach that we voted in basically didn't even make it to you guys. It didn't even come to a vote. It didn't even come to a, hey, this is why we're not going to do it. At least we haven't heard why, or if it even got to you guys, that it got nixed after we had gone through all that effort. I feel like this community, the people that come here that dedicate the time to set aside to come to these, to talk to you guys, there's big concerns. And this isn't what I do on a daily basis. It's not what I want to do as much as I don't need to, but if I feel like it needs to be talked about, I feel like answers at least need to be provided of the steps that we're taking, things that we're headed a headway and why we went a different direction. I think the community that's involved, especially a lot of the high school football coach or the football team's parents, I think that they'd really like to know. I think that the answers would be nice to see the transparency of the decisions that are being made, because they involve our kids. They involve us. They involve our Friday nights that we're going to have. They involve the scrimmages and all the practices we take our kids to. So I'm just asking if there's some sort of transparency that we can have with what's happened and what's going to happen. I think that today, talking about Monroe is the most we've heard for a football coach for what the program's going to do. So I'm glad to hear that there's something in place, that the boys have something to look forward to. But as parents, it'd be nice to get a few answers to know what happened and what's going to happen. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Caleb Walter. Did I get that right?
Evening, everybody. My name is Caleb Walton, currently in my junior year at the Shelton High School, third year in the band. 3 years ago, coming straight out of 8th grade, fresh from the kitchen table, I came into the high school band terrified. Knowing the level that the high school band stood at, knowing that I was nowhere near that level, I never felt like I could be welcomed in a place I so loved. 3 years ago, I first met Mr. Pruitt, a friend, a teacher, and a mentor. 3 years ago was the first time I ever felt welcomed to this new world. Through the next 4 months, Pruitt never lost this welcoming spirit, as he taught and as he mentored. On the day of the winter concert, the day that was Pruitt's last, I didn't get to shake his hand before he left. Which hurt, the first person who made me feel welcomed, and I didn't get to shake his hand. A few months later, Pruitt was back to lead us through graduation. Pruitt never lost his welcoming attitude. From sharing our terrible jokes to complimenting my triangle plane that we both worked on, Pruitt was always a friend. Coming into junior year, Pruitt was with us often. Whenever he was needed, even if it was just hours before, Pruitt was always there. On one basketball game, a game we learned up the day of, just the drumline and Pruitt showed up. Pruitt's grandfather died that day. It was a rough day for him, but he still showed up and led us through the game. Pruitt was always there for us. Oh, that was the wrong one. Pruitt has always been here for us, for the band, for us. He teaches us not only how to be great musicians, but also great people. Last week, I finally shook Pruitt's hand, and it hit me. The man who led me through so much is leaving. Pruitt, you have greatly impacted the band, both musically and culturally, and we thank you immensely for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Marilyn Aaron.
Good evening. My name is Marilyn Aaron. My address is on file with the district. As an almost lifelong Shelton resident, I am invested in the well-being of our schools and the future of our children, as I know many of you are. Our district website paints a noble picture of our school board elected officials who devote countless hours to planning, setting the direction for our schools, and making critical decisions that impact the education of our children. Their important duties include selecting the superintendent, hiring personnel, and adopting budget proposals. One of their primary functions is to determine district policy. This description resonates with the fundamental principles of accountability and stewardship that guide their role in our community. It also states that the board believes that an informed and involved community is critical to the success of the district and wants to maintain open communication with all constituents. Yet time and time again, we're thanked for our public comments, but where is the follow-through? Where is the open communication and transparency that they profess to uphold? Recent experiences have revealed a disconnect between the rhetoric of open communication and the reality of closed doors. Emails to the board regarding personnel matters are met with responses stating they have no say in the hiring process. Topics brought to their attention at meetings are seemingly dismissed or overlooked. This misalignment raises a fundamental question. What is the purpose of serving our community as board members if there is such a glaring disparity between what's stated and what's practiced? In addition to their duties, our board members are tasked with staying abreast of all developments in education in our state and around the country. These values of transparency, integrity, and open communication are not just words on a website. They are the foundation upon which our schools are built, the cornerstone of our partnership between the community and those entrusted with the stewardship of our educational institutions. So as we move forward, let us not forget the essence of service to our community. Let us hold our board members accountable to their stated responsibilities, to the values of transparency, integrity, and open communication. It is our duty as community members to show up, speak out, and hold our elected officials accountable for the oaths and duties they were sworn to uphold. Yet amidst these challenges, we must also acknowledge the possibility that the members of the board themselves may be mere pawns in a strategic game played by someone who fancies themselves as skilled beyond measure. If this is indeed the case, then it falls upon us, the members of this community, to reclaim the narrative, to demand accountability, and to restore integrity to our educational institutions. Let's work together to ensure that our schools remain beacons of excellence, places where every child has the opportunity to thrive and succeed.
Thank you. Donnie Norris?
My name is Donnie Norris, Shelton, Washington. Definitely what she said. That was amazing. I'm not prepared, but I found out on May 20th that my daughter, who is part of the Honor Society, was not notified, along with other students, of the field trip to the Mariners game. And the communication that took place for that was a flyer of 140 students of the Honor Society given to their first period teacher for communication and to notify the student. No email to the parents, no other communication, just a flyer to the first period teacher. So when my daughter called me from school pretty upset, you know, that's a junior year event that was not, you know, these kids weren't able to experience because of the lack of quality of communication and care. Because that's something pretty special, right? I mean, they earned it. Especially my daughter, who has medical issues, but is amazingly strong and is an Honor Society student. She has one period at the high school, and then she's running start. She's this year's captain to the Shelton High School dance team. And I'm pretty disappointed. And this isn't the first time I've had to come and stand in front of you guys for support and care and better quality of communication. And I ask that, at least for next year, there will be some more personableness for these students, because they have earned it and they deserve it. Thank you.
Thank you for all the public comments. Is there anybody on the phone? Okay. Item number 5, reports and recognitions. 5.01, recognition of retirees by Tabitha Woody.
Good evening, Board. Thank you for having me up here again to have the honor of recognizing some of our staff. We just finished a celebration where we got to honor 19 individuals that are retiring from Shelton School District this year, and got to hear a lot about them and what they've contributed to this community and to the students in our district. So in a way to honor them, I would just like to read their names and how many years they served in Shelton School District. So Mary Clift, 39 years, retiring from Oakland Bay Junior High. Jerry DeMiro, 38 years, retiring from Mountain View. Stephanie Duncan, 9 years from Oakland Bay. Darcy Eliason, 6 years from Oakland Bay. Karen Hunter, 34 years from Oakland Bay. Lorna Martinson, 25 years from Shelton High School. Teresa Mayer, 2 years from Oakland Bay. Bog McMath, 17 years in our technology department. Dan Milnes, 19 years as in our custodian maintenance department. Jill Norris, 31 years at Oakland Bay. Allison Nutt, 43 years in the central office. John Rance, 7 years at Shelton High School. Jerry Rice, 9 years at Choice High School. Glenn Shorten, 39 years in the central office. Cherie Strickland, 42 years from Bordeaux Elementary. Vic Strickland, 7 years in maintenance. Joanne Swantock, 16 years in food service. And Tamara Twitty, 24 years in Bordeaux. We thank all of you for your years of service and your dedication to the students of Shelton School District. Thank you.
Thank you. 5.02, the report from the student school board representatives, and we'll start with Aiden Underberg.
All right, so this Thursday, May 30th, from 4:30 to 6:30, we are hosting our second and final Experience Cedar Project Showcase, where students will show off a project of their choosing from either second trimester or this trimester. All community members are welcome, and we're looking forward to it. On Saturday, Cedar had a little booth at the farmers market handing out plants that our students planted to community members. This Friday from 7:30 to 9:30, we're hosting our Cedar Dance in this gym. ASB has been working very hard in the preparation, and our students are really looking forward to it. The seniors' last day is June 4th. Our graduation rehearsal is June 6th from 8 to 11 a.m. in the Performing Arts Center at SHS, and graduation is June 7th at SHS. And then lastly, I'd like to thank the school board, my principal Amber, and Counselor Susie for the opportunity to represent Cedar on the Shelton School Board. And by the way, do I get to keep the name tag as a souvenir?
Yeah, it's yours. I can do that, right? Okay. Okay, next up, Abigail Hurst from Shelton High School.
The high school is preparing for graduation on June 8th. We are currently having a senior spirit week. 2 students attended boys tennis state competition, placing in 8th place. May 30th, choir is hosting a finale concert at 7 p.m. This will also include an awards. A few classes from environmental science took a field trip to this local wastewater treatment plant. Prom takes place this weekend at 8 p.m. in the sub-building, and yearbooks can now be picked up in the athletics office.
Thank you. .03, recognition of the outgoing student school board representatives. Mr. Jester.
Thank you. What an honor it is to congratulate both Aiden and Abigail. Riley was unable to make it. Really, public speaking is not easy, for sure. And it's also a great lesson in civics, right? Like you get an opportunity to see, the concerns and also the celebrations all in this meeting alone, right? Of what it is to be part of the Shelton community. And I think, the time and effort that you do to get the background information and show up and be prepared to be so well-spoken, to be responsible for the things that you do to not only gather the information, but to obviously talk with staff and other students to obtain, just the right information that's up to date for the community is really special. And Aiden, for you, we wish you so well on your next step. I don't know if it's just one step to the next step is what I've heard your story. So I'm really excited to hear. I hope I get to know how exactly you land and if you go on to exactly where you want to go. And I know, okay, you give me signals. That's good. All right. Well, keep me informed. Find my email, and I'd love to find out exactly what goes on for you, Aiden. And just to see your confidence and just ability to again, be to present yourself so professionally as a student and just to be right on point every time. So I just really appreciate that, and we wish the best for you, and I look forward to celebrating your graduation. Abigail, you're coming back. She loved the experience so much. Look at that smile. So that's great. Welcome back. Really nice to have you, Abigail. I know, wrestling, SHS and all the information there is not always easy as well, and some of your other responsibilities, like Aiden, just to make the time to come here. And so we really look forward to having you back, and that you can also help us onboard the new student representatives that will be coming up from Choice and Cedar. So that'll be really nice. So more to come. We were able to get you some gifts, some semi-healthy snacks are in the box. So please enjoy. Well-deserved for all your time and effort, for sure. So kudos to you, and thank you so much. Very special.
You guys have done a really good job this year, and it's been a lot of fun kind of watching you. And Aiden, I remember when you were a kid on the football field that I wasn't sure if you had a tongue. You just never spoke at all. So you've come a long ways, and it's been great to watch. Thank you. 5.04, the budget status report for April 2024 by Brenda Drogstad.
Good evening, Shelton School Board. I would like to present the April 2024 budget status report for all of our funds. General fund is in a good place in April. That's one of our higher apportionment months and tax collection months. So we're at $2,225,150.68. You will see in May and June that it will go down a little bit because it's low apportionment month. We only get about half in those months, and then we crank back up in July and August. So you'll see that fluctuate a little. Capital Projects Fund, we did have a few payments that had to come out of that for some previous work. And so we're at $3,683 right now, but we do still have some state match that will be coming in off of that, so that will go back up some too. Debt Service Fund, we are at $3,234,347.07. This Friday, I do have to make the interest payment on the bonds that we have, and it's about $1.1 million that will come out of that. Associated Student Body is $483,020.79. That stays pretty steady throughout the year with fundraising and expenditures. Transportation Vehicle Fund is at $307,095.39. We do have a couple buses on order, but probably won't come in till mid next year. And then, of course, we have the scholarship funds, the Drake Scholarship, Mike Johnson Memorial, and Bulk Memorial, and those ended at $248,999.84. Do you have any questions?
Is Becky there? Did she have any questions?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Facilities and maintenance update. Robert Heron, you're up.
How quickly a year goes by. It seems like I was just here. So up here on the screen, thank you so much. It's been a fast year. As we've been going through 23 and 24 school year, we've been working on our goals, but we've also had a lot of work orders. This year has been all about the incoming work order stream has been greater than it's ever been. And the largest cause of that increase is HVAC. So our buildings are getting older, something that we knew was happening and we've been planning for it. And so we've been trying to prepare for things the best that we can, but we also have aging buildings. And so we know that there's a lot of upcoming capital needs that will need to happen. And so we're just continually trying to rise to that challenge to keep our spaces comfortable. And so we've been able to keep things moving, but also the cost has been higher as a result. We've installed also some acoustical sound panels over at the ELC and the Med Academy. If you've ever been in there before when it's full of kids or equipment operating at the MET, it's distracting. It's hard to keep kids focused and educating them when there's a lot of background noise. And so we've been able to make some strides moving forward with that. We also hired a new plumber. We're excited about that. This is a position that we've struggled to keep filled over the years. And so we have a great experienced journeyman level plumber who started in February, and he's been doing a great job. And so he's been able to help us catch up with our backlog. And as you may have heard, if you were here earlier, Vic Strickland is retiring, our electrician, and he's great, right? And so not only is he fully skilled, but he also is a licensed electrician. And so he's been able to he runs his own L&I permit, right? And so he only has to come out and be inspected once a year for the work he's done. That's been a great luxury for the district. So we're gonna miss having that flexibility and being that nimble with our electrical program. But we are posting that position and we hope we get a good qualified candidate. And as you know, we also have 2 portables stored out here behind OMS for future use. And then this summer, we've got a lot of work planned. And so we do have, because we've been expending more on HVAC, we're constantly looking at ways to do the work that we want to do this summer and trying to be creative with how we're doing that. And so some of these things may not come to full fruition depending on budget reasons, but if everything goes as planned, this is the main highlights of our summer work program. So we are super excited, highlight number 1, that we are starting on a full year project to add an ADA lift in the sub at Shelton High School. So this would give us access to all 3 levels. So CTE is working on a new student store and lounge downstairs. It's a multi-year project, but we need to make sure we have access to all students, right? This is a big chunk of change. It's hard for us to come up with $100,000 for that, but we were able to get full grant funding for the maximum grant allowed for $100,000. So we are starting that work, the design this summer, and then so we can go into permitting in the fall for work for next year. We also, at the 800 building at SHS, we have a dust collector that is as old as the building is. It is in desperate need to be, actually it's beyond being rehabilitated. We can't rehab it anymore, so we are working to replace that, and we're trying to do that work this summer. And so we have an aggressive schedule to try to get that operable by August 31st. And then we have if you've been following along from the original bond, we still have, out in front of Mountain View here, the state is finally coming through with their final portion to construct the art feature for Mountain View High School, or elementary school. And so out in the plaza, there's this beautiful campus structure that will be out on display, hopefully before the end of the summer. And then we are looking at the 800 building. We are now experiencing challenges there with that roof, which we've known about, but it's an old roof. We're going to, over the next couple of years, replace segments of it because we don't have the funding to do all of it. So we're taking the most dire section and getting that replaced this summer. We also are enriching the program at Choice to give them basketball hoops. That will be starting in June as soon as school is out. And then we're also been taking off in pieces the Ag Portable at Shelton High School. Last year we replaced the subfloor and the flooring in there, and so this year we're going to try to get some of the siding done. We also replaced the roof for there last year. We're going to try to get to some of the siding this year, and so we're over maybe the next year or two we can have that done. The MCTC is getting their floor replaced. We're also looking to do sensors for vape sensors at Oakland Bay Junior High School. That's an exciting thing we're trying to work through, but now we don't have an electrician, which is a good part of that work. We're getting proposals from others. We also, at the High Climber Stadium, we got fascia boards to replace and repaint. They're at the end of their life. We also are here at Mountain View, have to do our 5-year elevator load and testing. Isn't that exciting that this is now 5 years old, and then we have to go through the next 5 years? Choice, the life skills portable, we need to rebuild the rear entrance so it's weatherproof. And then we got to do roof cleanings all around Shelton High School. We're going to relocate the lockers of the fast pitch in the clubhouse at the Shelton High School. We have a roof repair next door at OMS. And then over at Bordeaux, we had during the big winter freeze, we had a sprinkler line that burst. Well, we have, of course, made that repair right away, but we have some materials and things that we want to get cleaned out and get things ready for the next 20 years for that space. That we focus on just getting it operational first, and so we want to get that taken care of. And if after all that we have time and available funds, we're going to continue our Shelton High School rafter repairs around the exterior. At Choice, we also try to get a couple of the countertops replaced in classrooms with an overlay. And then we also have, at the 600 building at the high school, we have a pop-out that needs to be removed. It's not in good condition, and it's a storage area. And then we have at Evergreen, we have the original boiler from the 2003 construction that needs to be either require a lot of work or replacement. So we're working with proposals for that right now. And then for beyond capital ideas, just to rehash some of the things we talked about last year, the wood court at the mini dome is at the end of its life. It needs to be replaced. We keep refinishing it, but it is due, and that's actually a big ticket item. And then we have the at the sub at the high school, the penthouse, which is the top area of the roof, all of that equipment and everything we were not able to catch as a part of the bond, that needs to be repaired and replaced, or the roof needs to be replaced, and then the equipment needs to be replaced. We have more drainage improvements we can do at Shelton High School. The OBJ elevator is not operable at the moment and needs to be either repaired or a replacement or a full modernization. The LNI's changed the codes, and so while we're in there, we might as well do the full modernization and get current with the code. So we're looking at that and the budget for that for the future. We also need to paint all the buildings in the district, and we have many roofs that are at the end of their lives, and there's listed out there for you. And we also have mechanical systems that are at the end of their lives over the next couple of years. These are all things that are hundreds of thousands of dollars that have life cycles, right? These are not things that we can fund out of our normal budget cycle for our maintenance budget, so these require extra funding. So these are things to keep in mind as we're considering things for the future for outside funding. And then I'd be remiss if I didn't take an opportunity to talk about Oakland Bay. So this is the same slide as last year. It just updated to say 34 years instead of 33. Right? It's a solid building, but it needs some work to keep it going for the next 30 years. And so that's estimated to do a modernization of important systems is about $4 million. And so these are things that we need to tackle perhaps in the next bond. So that completes my presentation. And I stand ready to answer any clarifications.
The one question I had is the pop-outs on the 600 buildings. That's back when I was in school. That was like the greenhouses kind of on the end of that science building there?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
This is a very ambitious list, so I see you have a lot to do and worry about. Tell me about the Shelton High School 800 building roof. Is that one building we house students in?
Yes, so we have, of course, the auto shop, the wood shop. We have 2 classrooms in there as well, and so in the welding shop. And so that roof, in parts, we are up there every year doing the best we can to try to keep it from leaking, right? And so it is, I don't know the age of that existing roof at the 800 building, but it's probably the second roof it's had in its life. And so it's due for a replacement. So we're excited that the worst segment we're going to be able to get taken care of this year.
And then the vape sensors at OBJH, that will just be junior high, not high school?
That's correct. We did a trial at Shelton High School, and then to determine how successful and how useful it would be. And so we were excited by that, but we weren't excited about the total cost that we received. And so we were trying to find a way to maybe break this into segments and try to find the most where we can have the most impact for the dollars that we have available for a budget. And so it's a very, of course, entailed, deep conversation that I'm trying to summarize succinctly. But so this year we're looking at to try to get that started at Oakland Bay, and then and try to capture the students at a younger age. And so maybe we can work with them and get them the intervention. And we have the numbers that we can work with, and have more peer relationships and student teacher relationships and things that we can use to affect a long-term change. And then we do want to, of course, expand that program further once we can develop something that is successful.
Yeah. Very good. Thank you.
I just had one other question. It may even be a question for Brenda, but on OBGH, we're looking at $4 million or $500,000 a year if we did it over on an interest versus inflation. Would it be cheaper to do it with debt, and do we have the debt capacity to do it? I know it's a two-part question, and like I said, it might be more for Brenda. Or maybe a study session.
I can say that we've looked at it before, but the expense of debt versus the rate of inflation, right? Those are very dynamic things, right?
Sure.
So sometimes it probably pencils out if the timing's right and the rates are where they're at.
Well, I guess to tag onto that question is the longer we wait on some of these repairs, the worse the actual damage or repair need would be, and so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the expression, an ounce of prevention,
right.
to cure all that stuff, right? And so, definitely, the sooner we can do it, the better it will be.
Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you very much for the report. I appreciate seeing all of this. I know that when I first started on the board, there wasn't kind of a comprehensive plan that looked forward and beyond what was actually happening, and this is very helpful for the board to understand what we're looking at and what could be future expenses. And then when we are having those budget discussions later on this summer, that can help play a role in what we're talking about and how we're planning. So I really appreciate how far this report has come and all the work that you've done in bringing this information to us. So thank you.
Thank you.
I don't believe there's anything else, so thank you. That'll take us up to item number 6, the consent agenda. Has everybody had a chance to look at that?
Oh, I have. I move that we approve the consent agenda.
And I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And that takes us to item number 7, 7.01, proposed revised policy number 6600, transportation, with Brenda Trogstad, and a second reading and recommend approval.
Good evening. We have Transportation Policy 6600 that we're following the WASDA policy on. We did make the addition of the RCW that Director Cronquist had requested in the first reading. And I just want to say, there was a question about should we have may in that first sentence or go back to shall. We are sticking with may because you do not have to provide transportation to all students per the state law. You do for McKinney-Vento and some special ed students. So, and we reviewed other districts' policies, and they have May in it also per the directive of the WASDA policy. So we would like to keep that as May, and I request that this be approved this evening, if you don't have any further questions.
After going through it a couple of times, I don't have any other questions. Becky, did you have anything?
Yes. Hi, Brenda.
Hi.
I just curious, we have to, or may provide transportation to and from school for students if they meet the criteria 2, 3, 4, and 5, right?
Right.
So do they just have to meet one of those or all of those?
Yes, it is one. We do have the semicolons. I see there's one that needs to be corrected, and then we have or, so you only have to meet one of those criteria.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
If we approve this tonight, can you make that correction?
Yes.
Okay.
I just spotted it right before I came, so I'll have Allison fix it tomorrow. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you.
I motion to approve the proposed revised policy number 6600, transportation.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Take that as an aye, and it's unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 8 is board member comments. Director Cronquist, we'll start with you if you have anything since you're there.
I attended the button ceremony, as I know most of us did. I was very moved, I guess is the right word to use, with the stories of these kids, the beautiful blankets that their families, I imagine, spend hours putting together. And I was quite honored to attend, and I really enjoyed it. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Gilmore.
I just want to thank the student representatives who have been here helping us and giving us so much information. You do a really great job every week, and it's hard to stand up here and speak. So I'm really proud of you both, and I'm glad you're going to be with us next year. So thank you.
Director Knudsen.
Yes, I'd like to thank the public for their comments. I'd like to thank Aiden and Abigail for their participation. You did a fine job. And on the note of communication and transparency, I'd like to ask Superintendent Jesse why we were not invited to the retirement celebration. I would have loved to have been there to celebrate our retirees. We saw it on our agenda. It was going to be during the meeting, and maybe it's just a communication problem.
Allison, should have sent an invite. Yeah, she thought she did. So sorry. That's the
Well,
statement to make.
none of us knew about it.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for answering.
Director Davison.
I want to thank everybody for the public comments as well, and for the retirees that did come out beforehand. It was nice to hear the parts, especially so many people that have given so many years of service here to the Shelton School District. And thank you to our student representatives. It has been really wonderful to watch both of you give your reports at all of our school board meetings, and I'm sorry that Riley couldn't be here, but it's really been wonderful to hear what's been going on at your schools. It helps keep us informed and know what's going on, so we really appreciate that. I had the opportunity with Carla to go present our Drake Scholarship that the school board does. That was, I think, a week ago on Wednesday. There's been so many different things going on. But that was wonderful, and I really want to give a big thank you to our community that gives just a lot of opportunities and money and internships to our students. It was really incredible to see the different scholarship awards that were given out to a variety of different students, and one of our partners has been Mason Health from the beginning with the Health Science Academy. They jumped in right away, and they give 3 incredible, I think it was 3, it might have been 4, full ride scholarships, including gas. And it's just really amazing to see what our community has offered up to our students. It's wonderful to see. And I too was at the button robe ceremony. I really enjoy going to that and hearing just all of the special stories that the families talk about, just like Becky had said. And the robes are amazing, and it's wonderful to see the kids. They might feel a little embarrassed having their family say things, but then you can see that they really do feel the love, and they feel proud that their family and friends and the people that help raise them are there to celebrate them. It's really wonderful to see, and I'm really glad we did that. And last but not least, just congratulations to all of our athletes that were able to compete at state events last week.
Graduations for all 3 high schools are the 6th, 7th, and 8th. It's before our next board meeting, so I would like to formally say congratulations to all of the seniors out there. You've put a lot of work into what's coming up. You should be very proud of where you have gotten to at this point. When I listen to the teachers retired and all that, and I see the teachers around town that were teachers or counselors or principals even when I went to school here, I'm reminded of how valuable that local connection is. And wherever you go to college and whatever it is that you become, I hope you bring those talents back here and help our town grow and help really put that to use in the local as much as possible. We are proud of all that you've done and all that you will be. To the teachers out there that are retired, I'm sorry they've all left, it seems like, but thank you for all the time that you've put in here. I can't tell you the number of thousands of students that you've personally touched and helped and really gotten us through a whole lot of stuff. As somebody who went to school here, I can't ever thank the teachers enough. I'm sure I was a handful. I am excited that we do have Josh Monroe stepping up and coaching this year, so the kids have something to go on. It's a big deal. As somebody who was a coach, this is a very large undertaking, and Josh is going to want and need the support of the community on this. We look forward to being able to hire a full-time permanent coach at the end of the football season. That's all I got. So there's no need for an exempt session. Do we have a motion for an adjournment?
I move that we adjourn.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And we're adjourned.